Hey, Nick.
Hello, Tyson. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, look, it's time for another episode of Nick Tyson Videotape, so that makes me pretty excited.
We're on 72, Tyson. Episode 72.
Is it episode number 72?
72. We're almost, look, we're not, it's, 100 is going to land this year?
No, surely it won't. We hit 50 in February or something, so I assume we'd hit...
Look, listeners, my math is off.
100 early next year we'll hit 100.
Early next year.
There cannot be 30 weeks left in this year. No, we're in the second half of the year, you goose.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Look, it's been a fun day.
It's one of those days, I understand. And look, maths is not my strong point at the best of times, so
fair deal.
But yes, we're very excited. We're going to have, the rest of this year, we've got some really exciting stuff planned. It's going to be a lot of fun. Exactly. We do have, of course, the return of our Halloween spookisodes during the month of October, which is coming up very soon.
Halloween special.
We have our Not Quite Christmas movies throughout December. We've got some exciting things coming up, Nick.
Bring it on.
Pumped.
Bring it on.
But today, it is, we got something special.
It's the mailbag.
It is the mailbag. We're doing volume 2 of our mailbag special. This is when we, we take a bit of time out of our regular day, regularly scheduled programming.
Jump into the mailbag and read out some love letters.
Our big overflowing sacks of mail.
Nasty.
And peer on some of the treats inside.
Yeah, fair deal. That just went bad.
Yeah.
It was good though. I loved it.
Yeah.
It was sweaty and salty, and I liked it. Look,
I don't know what it is, but I enjoy a good sack joke. I don't know. I'm a simple man, Nick. I really am. Hey, why don't you tell people where they can find our little show, Nick?
Thanks for joining us, ladies and gents. We do really appreciate it. If you didn't get in to write us a letter for this episode, you can still do it. We'll still, even though we do a mailbag, we take your letters into consideration, especially if it is a request. So in order to do that, you can write us a letter or contact us on nicktysonvideotape@gmail.com, which is the email, or any of the social media. Just look up Nick Tyson Videotape. Literally just put in Videotape. We're the first one to come up. And then from there, so we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. We are on YouTube. There are, if you want to have a look at us up on the YouTubers.
On the YouTubers.
Yeah, we're on there.
We are on there.
But other than that, any other podcast thing that you have apart from a couple, we're there. So just look us up, subscribe, like, or resubscribe. I believe we'll get to that later maybe. But like, subscribe, share us around, and
please do,
follow.
Get involved in the fun, because we do have quite a lot of fun over at Nick Tyson Videotape HQ. Yeah. Get up to all kinds of nonsense. Well, why don't we get up to the regular nonsense that starts our show, Nick?
Let's trailers, Tice.
Do it.
Get on.
Everybody's talking trailers. All right. Here we are, Nicholas.
Back to my ears. Okay, here we go. Well, Tice, it wasn't really slim pickings, but it wasn't blockbusters.
No, there was quite a lot of stuff.
There was some that, they look really good.
Yeah,
and some a little Oscar baity, Tice.
Well, we're getting to that time of year, I think, Nick. Yeah. We're getting close. We're getting real close. Maybe we should talk about that one first. One that,
should we talk about?
I mean, it's surely gunning for some Oscar love.
Something. Yeah, seriously. So what, we do Green Book? Yeah,
is it just Green Book or The Green Book?
It's just Green Book. Let me double check.
Let's double check that. Well, why don't we cut to the trailer while you double check that?
While you do that, you play the trailer and I'll read it out.
Perfect.
Yeah. Some guy called over here, a doctor. He's looking for a driver. You interested?
I am not a medical doctor. I'm a musician. I'm about to embark on a concert tour in the Deep South. What other experience do you have?
Public relations.
Do you foresee any issues in working for a black man?
You in the Deep South? There's gonna be problems.
Promise me you're gonna write me a letter.
No problems. Tell me that don't smell good.
I've never had fried chicken in my life.
You people love the fried chicken.
You have a very narrow assessment of me, Tony.
Yeah, right? I'm good.
Who will be interacting with some of the wealthiest people in the country? It is my feeling that your diction could use some finessing.
Why you breaking my balls?
Because you can do better, Mr. Vallalonga.
Lady Dolores.
I saw Dr. Shirley play the piano. He's like a genius, I think.
Come on, take it easy.
I prefer not to get grease on my blanket.
Ooh, I'm gonna get grease on my blanket.
This gentleman says that I'm not permitted to dine here.
I'm afraid not.
How does he smile and shake their hands like that?
Because it takes courage to change people's hearts.
Well, see, now we're confusing people into thinking that we're doing the trailer in real time, which is definitely not how it works. Exactly. People I'm doing that much later. That's true. Just the wonders of technology.
He is. Look, Tice breaks his back to give you your podcast, your episode pleasure.
Yeah. But yes. Hours slaving away. Editing.
Hours slaving away.
Like no, totally, practically an hour. Like it's real.
Exactly.
It's a real ball breaker.
Copy and paste and stuff.
It's rough. So it's a Green Book.
It's just Green Book. Yeah.
Right. I fucking loved this trailer. By the way.
Really loved this trailer. I really did. This looks so boss. So we've got Viggo Mortensen and Mahershala Ali, both Oscar winners. Has Viggo won one?
No. Viggo has not won. Surely, I can't imagine what for. And I know he's been nominated a few times, but he surely hasn't won because.
Well, he's not winning for Hidalgo. That's for damn sure.
Oh, Hidalgo. That is just one of those movies that I would be really interested in watching at some point.
Really?
Yeah.
Do Hidalgo. Oh, jeez. Well, maybe after the Oscars, we'll do like a downtime and watch Hidalgo, and do that on the podcast.
I don't think anyone needs to hear us talk about Hidalgo for more than 5 minutes. But for some reason, the idea of Viggo Mortensen as a horse kind of soldier.
You reckon?
I've got interest in that. Yeah, for sure.
You'd watch it? Yeah.
I
just thought it literally was jumping on the Viggo's hot bandwagon of Lord of the Rings. And I know that's what it was. Just like that, I don't know anything about Twilight, and this is why I come to you with this question.
Sure.
The guy who
played the Twilight expert.
The Twilight expert.
World-renowned Twilight expert. Tyson Legg. Please hit me up with all your Twilight questions.
Anyone, just write in.
NickTysonVideotape@gmail.com.
And Tyson will answer those.
We can share Twilight fan fiction together.
Good Lord, please don't do that. I don't have any time. My time is very rare, and I like to do it in things that I like to do. Where was I going with that? Twilight question.
Ask me your Twilight question, yes.
Yeah. What was the guy who played the werewolf? What was the actor's name?
Taylor Lautner.
Yeah. Remember the movie that came out after Twilight caught on real big of him on the cover? All I can remember is the cover. It's him sliding down a roof.
Yeah, it's called Abduction, that movie.
Okay. Yeah. That was the same thing, jumping on the bandwagon. It was a long story to get around with it, and it had no point. We'll move on.
Sure.
Have you watched that movie, Tyson?
Abduction?
Oh
no.
My God, you own it. You own it, don't you?
No, I do not.
Do you own it?
I do not own it. I have never seen it. No, don't buy it for me. It's fine. What was the other one he did? Didn't he do another movie where it's practically the same thing? Like he's he's wearing like a backpack. Maybe it's the same.
I'm gonna look him up.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
Just to find out.
This is what the people come to the show for.
Exactly.
So while you're looking that up,
Green Book.
Let's talk about Green Book. That I keep wanting to say Green Room.
Green Room, not Green.
Which
Green
is
Book,
it's definitely not Green Room. Although I'll tell you what, a remake of Green Room with Viggo Mortensen and Mahershala Ali, I would not be against that. That would be an interesting movie. Viggo Mortensen as the Patrick Stewart. I'd be interested to watch that movie. Anyway, what we have here is we have two actors that are really going for it. Like
Look, they've got their chops down and they know what they're doing.
Look. I don't. I think I really like Viggo Mortensen. I really do.
Yeah.
I think he's awesome. And so I like to see him do this kind of stuff where he's pushing himself a little bit, or not so much pushing himself, but he's trying something. Like he's really doing a thing. Like he has picked a thing and he's really doing it. Like he's got. Is he put on the weight, or is that a bit of a fat suit? You reckon?
No, I think he's put on that weight. Yeah. Because I don't think he's a person to wear a fat suit. If you know, having watched the how much of an artist Viggo is, he paints, he's a photographer, he does all of that stuff, and I don't think he's a man to put on. He'll wear prosthetics. I'm not saying that he won't do that. I'm saying that for this role, especially with how serious the tone is and the themes that they're dealing with, I don't think he's going to put on a fat suit. I think he's going to put on the weight.
Fair call. Well, we've got so he's doing a kind of like a New York or New Jersey kind of thing. New Jersey. It's set in the like 30s or 40s, maybe.
I don't know. I think is he Italian?
Well, that's what I mean. It's that real kind of like Italian American thing, early 20th century.
Yeah. It's set in the 60s.
In the 60s.
Early
okay.
60s.
Yeah, right. A little bit later than I thought it might have been. But he's really like leaning into that accent. He's got the super slick hairdo. It's all kind of like that. Hey, what are you talking about? Kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like Danny Zuko, but like,
hey, I'm walking it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, he plays like a bit of a rough layabout, like a guy who's kind of been from job to job, worked as like a bouncer, as a doorman, stuff like that, and he takes a job as a driver for Mahershala Ali, who is a
classic pianist.
Classical pianist. Well, I assume classical pianist. You never get to hear him play, but
no.
And someone who is very like he is by the book. He is really kind of a very upstanding gentleman. Like he seems to be very polished, takes great pride in his physical appearance and his posture, in the way he speaks. And so it's already kind of
very educated.
Yeah.
So and Vigo's kind of the more street smart type guy.
Yeah, which is kind of, obviously already kind of the contrary of maybe what the stereotypical kind of view from an outsider would be of these two guys, like especially in that era. Obviously, we're talking about kind of civil rights movement era, where it's where coming across an African American man who was that well spoken and was that polished and would be considered by some people to be kind of like an oddity, I guess. And so it's obviously very much it has a lot of the acceptance themes and all this kind of stuff, and it's trying to do a lot,
It's trying to say a lot, especially with it's got its finger on the pulse of what's actually happening at the time now. With like there was a scene in the trailer where they get pulled over by the police, and of course, they go, "Why is Mahershala Ali's character in the back seat?" And things like that. And they're dealing with those themes, which is I can't wait for this movie. This movie looks really good.
Look, and I think it's an interesting take on this kind of stuff. I think we've had some movies recently that have dealt with it on a very grand scale. Things like Selma, where they really took upon the overall kind of movement. Whereas this is kind of, it's nice to see a movie that's also taking it, looking at it from the angle of just a friendship between an Italian American and an African American,
exactly.
So it's kind of, I like that it's very seems to have very big things on its mind, but it's going in a very small kind of self-contained direction. I think I also
sorry, what were you going to say?
No, you go.
No, you go.
I was just going to say that I appreciate that there's going to also be kind of a music element to it, being a musician as well. I like that he's a concert pianist, because it just kind of, for me, I think that it adds some thematic weight that they're going to be able to play around with. And I
know Mahershala Ali is actually trained in piano.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
So he'll be doing all the playing himself. That's very
Possibly.
cool.
Yeah, which is very cool. We'll see. I'll get my man Tice on and he'll see whether the shots are actually him.
Oh, I'm not bad at picking that. I can do that. Yeah,
you can do that very well.
I'm pretty aware when they're faking it. But they're getting a lot better at faking it. I'll tell you this. Yeah, they're getting.
The only reason I know that tip is because when I watched Luke Cage season 1, and he's in that, and he plays in that, and it goes back, and I looked it up, and that is actually him.
Oh, cool.
I've tried to find that piece of music, and I can't find it anywhere.
The piece that he actually plays.
That he plays, yeah.
I'll
it's
have
out there
a look for you,
somewhere.
man.
I just haven't grabbed it. Yeah.
So this looks really interesting. I mean,
it is.
Yeah,
Tice, directed by Peter Farrelly of Dumb and Dumber 2.
As in Peter and Bobby Farrelly, the Farrelly brothers. One of the Farrelly brothers.
One of the Farrelly brothers is directing this, Tyson.
I did not look that up.
Yeah.
That is outrageous.
What does that bring to the table for you?
I think it brings a lot to the table, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think
that's a bit different, isn't it?
Look, they, the Farrelly brothers are super frustrating, man, because they have had some all-time great comedies, and then some that are just no good.
Yeah, exactly. Movie 43 comes to mind.
I don't think they had a huge amount to do with that, did they? I think no.
No, they didn't.
So he did.
He directed it. Jesus Christ.
They did?
Anyway.
But I think they directed one of the segments.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see them split up and see what see what that does for him.
Yeah, because it's been comedies all the way down the line, and this is their first, or Peter's first take at a serious movie. Which, yeah, look, they know what they're doing. They know their way around a film set. It's literally just a different script, and let's see how they can do it. But yeah, a lot of people say that directing comedy or getting comedy right is the hardest thing to do, I think.
And that's a good point. Like, if you can get comedy so right, which we know they can.
They really can.
I've heard, I read a lot of William Goldman. Do you know William Goldman?
I do know him.
Yeah, so I've got quite a few of his books, and he loves the screenplay for There's Something About Mary. He thinks it's legitimately like one of the greatest written screenplays of all time.
Yeah.
And you kind of, he's not exactly wrong either. Like, it really is, as a comedy movie,
it's hilarious.
It's so amazingly well put together on a structure level. Like,
yeah.
So I think, they've got so much potential there. So I'm actually a little bit more excited about this movie now that I've seen that it's Peter Farrelly. That's very interesting. Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah, fair deal.
What do you reckon? Oscars?
Look, it can't. Well,
I think they're gunning for it.
I was about to say it can't be ignored, but things can be ignored.
Of course, clearly. It can be. It could be a terrible film. It could be absolute garbage.
It could be garbage. Yeah, but I doubt it. It looks great.
I feel like it's either going to be like both of them amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, sometimes when there's like these two-handers and one just takes off, and the other one is kind of left in the dirt, and you're like, no, I feel bad for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Of the two, who do you reckon it would be?
Oh, only because I think Mahershala Ali is how do I put it?
He had his big run a year ago, or
no? I think he's still burning bright, and I think he's a little more. There's a bit more to his character to play with. That's not true at all, actually.
It always depends. It always depends. Like, they can either choose to go for what looks like to be a more kind of physical transformation, or what could be the more subtle kind of nuanced performance. Viggo looks like he's doing a thing. He's doing an actual thing.
He's doing a thing. Yeah, exactly. Where Mahershala Ali is just playing a very educated man.
Yeah,
it's just not his fault that he's black. But yeah, I don't know. I think with a really good script, they could really both, and that's what I wanted to see. What this movie is, and what I see in the trailer, is what I wanted to see out of. Oh, God damn it! Remember the Titans?
Oh yeah, right.
Between those two coaches, because that they become friends, and they're friends throughout their life. So I want their friendship to be the center point of this movie. Yes, they're gonna see each other's lives and past and what they've had to deal with and things like that, especially from Viggo's side, seeing what Mahershala Ali has to deal with. But I don't know. I want them to become friends because that's what is going to draw me into this movie.
It does look like that it builds into quite a touching friendship. You do see elements of that in it, and I think, I'm on board, man. I am on board. Shall we move on?
Let's go on to the next. Yep. What do we got? What is it called again?
I can't remember. Slaughterhouse Rules?
Slaughterhouse Rules?
Slaughterhouse Rock.
Not Slaughterhouse 5.
Not Slaughterhouse Rules. With a Z? Is it Rules with a Z?
I think it's Rules with a Z. Yes, it is. It's Rules with a Z.
That's very cool.
Did you get my note about the no-go areas?
I cannot have pupils wandering about in the middle of the night.
These things always end up in a bloody mess.
Welcome all to Slaughterhouse.
This is the school pecking order. At the top, we have the bat. In the middle, Clemsy Lawrence.
Watch where you're looking.
And then down at the bottom, Wooten.
Who's Wooten?
That's Wooten.
I'm afraid Mr. Prigg will be unable to teach today or ever again. He died here. Alone. Anyway.
There's something in the woods.
What the devil?
That hole is a gateway. And it leads straight down to hell.
Now, who wants to buy some drugs?
What do you think of this trailer, Nick?
It was it was a bit of fun. It looks
The reuniting Simon Pegg and Nick Frost in a horror comedy is a bit of a ballsy move, I think.
That's true. In a boarding school. And it's a bit mysterious what happens in this. I know that teenage Nick would be all over this thing. I'm probably going to be all over it now, to be honest, because it actually seems like a movie that even like I don't know if this is a deliberate choice, but the trailer looks like it should have come out in like 2001. Yeah,
is that just me? Like. No. Because it does all these like smash cuts of the school and like those quick zooms there's some kind of Smash Mouth song in the background or something, and it could be the trailer for a teen comedy in 2001.
That's true.
And it was a very strange vibe for me, and I was digging it. I was like, oh, this is for me. This is definitely for me.
Look, I'll definitely give it a watch. It looks hilarious.
Yes.
Especially, I love Nick Frost. I love Simon Pegg, but I really love Nick Frost.
Well, what are we got? What are we dealing with? We're dealing with a bunch of high schools who discover a gateway to
a sinkhole.
A sinkhole that turns out to be like a gateway to hell,
and they deal with whatever comes out of it.
And then whatever comes out of it is obviously trying to knock them off in the boarding school. We have Simon Pegg playing like a
teacher?
Like a substitute teacher or a relief teacher or something.
Yeah.
In what looks like kind of like a Hogwartsy kind of style boarding school. We've even got like a bad guy character that is clearly meant to be like a Malfoy.
A Malfoy. Yeah, that's so true. Even like a Crab and Goyle. Like there's even a Crab and Goyle there. And I'm like, oh my god.
And then we've got Martin Sheen. Martin Sheen.
Yeah, Martin Sheen.
No, Martin Sheen's. Is his name Martin Sheen as well?
Michael Sheen.
Michael Sheen, thank you.
Jesus, we suck.
I'm like, no, Martin Sheen is Charlie Sheen's dad.
Sheen. Yeah,
Jed Bartlett. Jed Bartlett is Martin Sheen.
Jed Bartlett.
No, so Michael Sheen, who I'm a big fan of.
I love Michael.
Speaking of Twilight,
is he in Twilight?
He's in the last couple. No, he's in quite a few of them actually, and he is just having a great old time. Like he is so happy. He is. It's like when it's like he got put in a costume and just went, well, I'm just going to fucking go for this. And he's playing it up like he's at a fucking theater restaurant, and it is beautiful to watch. But anyway, I'm a big fan of his. He's always welcome, and he's playing the headmaster, I believe.
I believe it's the headmaster, yeah.
Who is maybe not the most adept at handling these situations.
But who is? I love the cuts of this, how it splats, like you don't see a lot of gore, to be honest. It doesn't look very gory. Yes, but it's more of a teen horror movie, as in, 12-year-olds or 13-year-olds could watch it.
We'll see how it goes. It might end up being... it could just be that they tried to tame it down for the trailers to open up to a wider audience. But
good point.
You're right. It doesn't seem like it's It seems like it's more focused on the comedy than the horror, which isn't necessarily a problem.
No. Please, one of my favorite comedy horrors is Tucker and Dale, and that if anyone hasn't,
I fucking love Tucker and Dale.
Fucking watch it. I love Tucker and Dale.
But Tucker and Dale is gruesome though. Like it is
it's great. But how funny is it? Fuck, it's good.
Yeah, I love it.
So if this movie goes along the lines of Tucker and Dale, then bring it on. I'm all for it. I'm after good. You know what I'm after? Good kid characters. Like rewatching It, the remake of It. You love those kids, and you were scared to death if something happened to them. When they got attacked by the clown, you were scared to death. The same with the Sandlot kids. I'm going back a few years now, but you love these kids, and it's got one that has quips and funny things, and he's a bit of a character. Bring it on.
So you're saying you want to see this movie focus on the relationships of the kids, like make sure that they present a good bunch of kids that we can really...
Exactly.
It's funny, though, because they really didn't...
So I want a Toy Soldiers, but in 2018.
Toy Soldiers, but if they were, like, fighting zombies?
But fighting zombies.
Better
they look
movie.
like rat things coming out of the ground, though, at times. They look weird.
Yeah, they do look weird. It's funny, though, you say that, though. This trailer had very little interest in giving us anything about the kids whatsoever. They were all just very typical archetypes of high school kids.
Exactly, which is where I have problems. If they're giving me nothing, then I'm not in.
Sure.
You can't just put Simon Pegg and Nick Frost in a movie and go, hey, look.
Hard work's done. Yeah.
You'll love it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to love it unless you got to sell it to me. Time is precious.
It's a good point. It's a very good point. Yeah, look, I think it's done enough for me to be interested. I'm funny with my horror comedies because I don't know. I need them to be something very particular, and I can't quite put my finger on what that particular quality is.
Fair deal.
But I know when I don't like it.
What's a one that you don't like? A horror comedy? That you can think of, apart from Scary Movie 4?
No, because they don't have any horror. Cooties.
Cooties? I don't know that one. I think I do.
Cooties? Yeah, it's got Elijah Wood in it, and it's about... Written by Lee Winnell.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't remember who directed it.
I feel like Lee Winnell is he's the poor man of the duo, isn't he?
Oh, I like him, though.
I like him.
And apparently this Upgrade movie is amazing. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, it's a movie about a bunch of... like a virus takes over all the kids in a town and turns the kids into.
And now for our feature presentation.
But only the kids.
Got Alison Pill in here. You got
and so the staff of a primary school or a secondary school or whatever, have to deal with when all the kids go crazy. And it was no good. Kids. I did not enjoy it very much at all. And so that's a version of a horror comedy I don't love. Whereas something like, obviously the good ones are great, like What We Do in the Shadows,
exactly.
Shaun of the Dead, American Werewolf in London.
Yeah, which I would it's tipping more to the horror than to the comedy. It has it, but it's still horror.
See, it's funny, the comedy in American Werewolf in London is almost like, it's almost so subtle that you could choose to ignore it if you wished.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I really quite like about it. I think it's like you can watch it two different ways.
Exactly, but it gives you breathing room to kind of, well, that's just happened. I'm going to let you deal with that, how scary that is.
Yeah.
But by the way, here's a funny scene.
Yes.
Yeah, I like it.
So you never know. This might sit, I feel like this will sit somewhere in the middle, I think. Did you ever see Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse?
No, but I remember the cover because the title was just so fucking big that there was no room for the cover.
Yeah, exactly. That's an example of one that I think lands right in the middle. Right. Where I can enjoy elements of it, and I think there's some really great stuff on either side, but it doesn't add up to a completely coherent whole. Like, it's kind of like, it's a good enough time, but it doesn't succeed wholly at either.
Yep.
And I have a little bit of a sneaking suspicion this is where this might end up, where it doesn't quite nail either, but it's still a reasonably good time.
But it's still a bit of a good time.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it. All right, Tice, well, we've got some. We're going to get through all of these. Shall we? Will we move on to the bag? Do you want to get out the bag? Do you have the bag? Because I don't have the bag. I looked around my house. I don't have it.
Yeah. No, it's in my trunk.
Okay.
I'll go get the mailbag. Shall I?
Out of the trunk. I like it.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Not
totally reasonable reaction.
Yeah, fair enough. Because if you were a listener and then we did we told you that we were having a mailbag session
and completely ignored it.
Do it? Yeah, fair deal. All right. So from Samantha De Rosario, she writes, Nick Tice Videotape. This is the letter. Who would you like to see in a buddy cop film? I'd cast Jeff Goldblum and Christopher Walken for their weird timing they would bring to a script. And that is a really good question, Tyson. And
that is a great question. I am sorry. What did you say? Christopher Walken and Jeff Goldblum.
And Jeff Goldblum. Could you imagine the comic timing of their voices?
It would be. Oh my god! It would be like the strangest, like, audio experience. Like,
it'd be so good.
You would just hear the oddest intonation of line delivery.
Can you do any of those? I can, like, what jabazaz. That's all I've got of Walken.
No, I can't do a. I can't do a Walken.
I
can't do many people. I'm pretty bad.
No, I can do Mrs. Doubtfire. That's all I can do. That's literally it.
That's all it is. That's all.
Yeah, that's it.
No, I can't do a Christopher Walken.
You can't do a Walken. I can't do.
I do like that pairing though, because I see.
Can you imagine that? It's a buddy cop movie as well. So those two solving a crime.
Well, but see, so to make a buddy cop movie work, one of them. So
doesn't have to be a comedy.
Oh,
it could be serious.
No, I couldn't stand a serious. I'd giggle the whole way through because I'd be wondering. I'd feel like I think even if they told me it was a legit drama, I'd still think it would be a comedy, and I'd just end up laughing.
Yeah, fair deal. It's just because of them trying. Imagine the argument scene where their boss says, "You haven't cracked the case yet. What are you doing? I've got the mirror breathing down my neck."
Oh, I don't know. He's got the mirror. What can I say?
Yeah, I keep trying. No, I'm not doing it.
No, I can't do it. I just can't do it. What is it?
Watch it. No way he's gonna let this
there
guy.
You go. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's leaning into it.
No, he's not gonna let him do it because I can't. I just can't, boss. Oh, that's terrible. That's as far as I can go.
All right. Well, so I've got a couple here, Nick. How many you got?
I've got 4.
Oh, all right. Well, you go first then, because I've only got 3.
First. Well, the first one I wanted to say, Tyson, and I know that you'll love this. And they've done one movie, but I would like to see them in a series. All of mine are serious. Oh no, one is not serious.
Oh, none of mine are serious.
None of yours are serious. So I've got 3 serious ones. So the first serious one I would like to see is Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone in a buddy cop serious movie though. So I want sort of like a gritty end
like a Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, like a Lethal Weapon, exactly. End of days type deal where
end of days.
Yeah, like they're
Jesus, hang on. Okay, we got
cops.
2 different ideas here.
Yeah, I just don't want it to be versus Satan or versus something. I want
so
them
like
to
you want Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone in 7, basically, is what you're telling me.
Basically, yeah. 100%.
So who would be like the stately? Okay, so there are rules to buddy cop movies. You need to have. They can't be the same. Like they've got. So who's like older statesman? Who's like the one on nearing retirement? And who's the kind of loose cannon?
I'd say Arnie's my loose cannon, and Stallone is my rock. Like he's the one who's
Stallone is basically
Arnie's transferred in from another precinct, and he's trying to make a name.
And like he's all what's that movie he's in where he's got that terrible beard and he's all disheveled? End of Days. So so he rocks up like looking like with a 4-day hangover and is a big mess.
And
Stallone's in like the suits
Stallone's
and stuff.
In the suit in like when he looks like what is the cover where he's got the glasses? Oscar, yeah, he's the cover of Oscar, and he looks like that, but he's still built to the shit house.
Is this movie getting made now, or is this something we wished was made in like 1993?
I would like it to go back maybe let's go 10 years. So they're not young, but they're not old either.
All right.
Yeah. I want 10 years.
So
back,
what's the plot? Give me a quick rundown. What's the hook? Tell me the hook.
I have no idea. I didn't think that far.
Yeah, me neither. To be honest, I'm putting you on the spot.
I'll go one more though.
Yeah.
Because just off the back of that, I would like to see a hands down. I want to see like a safe house style. What is it called? I want to see Sam Jackson and Denzel Washington.
Oh,
in a cop movie that is also serious again, but that's going to bring another layer to it. And I want them now. I want them at their age now. So they've been partners for a while, these guys, and they come across a case that they can't crack, almost like a Zodiac.
All right,
that drives them both insane.
You got me hooked on that one.
You like that one?
Yeah, I like that one.
So I want Denzel in that. In the what was the John Wick style came out at the same time?
The Equalizer.
I want that, but Sam Jackson and him in that style movie.
I wholeheartedly support the idea of this film.
Okay, fair deal.
All right, you ready for my first one?
Yeah.
Mine are all ridiculous, by the way. My first one.
I'm going to say my ridiculous for the last. Yeah, go.
I would like to see a buddy cop movie set in like one of the real kind of like square departments of law enforcement, like tax evasion or something. And I want it to be a movie about like where for some reason like there's like a drug cartel and they haven't been able to bring them down in any way, shape or form, but they find a way that they could potentially get them on tax fraud or something. Same thing that happened to Capone, right?
Yeah.
And so they have to transfer across the head of like the top fucking the kind of guy that'll bust down a door and shoot first, ask questions later. They have to team him up with a real like book smarts
Book smart nerd.
And
you've thought this storyline, Tice. That's very
there
good.
There you go.
I like it.
So my pick for the big kind of action hero who works in like the DEA is The Rock.
Oh, The Rock.
The tax evasion specialist who is perhaps a little in over his head is Paul Giamatti. I want to see Paul Giamatti and The Rock.
Oh, I love Paul Giamatti. I really do. That's a good movie. I believe that's very close though to.
It's probably close to a million things. It's the other guys. It's kind of close to the other guys as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah. What's the one with him and? Oh God.
Central Intelligence.
Central Intelligence.
The one with him and him and.
Oh my God, Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart, that's it.
Kevin Hart, yeah. That is spot on to that.
Is that the plot of that, is it?
Almost.
Weren't they friends in high school or something?
They were friends in high school, yeah, they get together. But yeah, he's a world of espionage. And then so he's head of CIA, and what does Thingo do? I forget. But yeah, it's close to that.
Well, there you go. I'm obviously just ripping off other people's ideas.
Because I want Paul Giamatti, to be honest. I love Paul Giamatti.
I'd love to see Paul Giamatti trying to keep up with The Rock.
Yeah, that'd be good. What else you got, Tice?
Well, no, you're next, man.
My next? Yeah. Okay, cool. My last serious one is a little bit of fun, but I want to see it serious. I want to get the Ryans together. I want Ryan Gosling and Ryan Reynolds to do a movie together.
I mean, nobody's going to argue against that. Everybody in the world wants to see this happen.
Except for the person who has to design the cover because it's two Ryans and it'd be weird. Would that be weird? Do you think? Or
no, that's happened before, hasn't it?
Has it? With what?
There's been movies where the two actors have had the same first name.
Tom Cruise and Tom Hanks.
Yeah, that hasn't happened. What about Tom Berenger?
Tom Berenger and
Tom Burlinson. Some weird Toms for you.
There you go. So yeah, I don't know the plot to this one. It's very sexy though.
Oh, it's a sexy movie, is it?
Yeah, that's all I've got. Yeah, it's sexy.
So
maybe a thriller. I would like a sort of a thriller.
Ooh, a sexy thriller?
A sexy thriller. Sort of like a Basic Instinct, but without being too crass.
Oh, so is one of them the villain?
Yeah, one of them you find out is the actual killer.
So their partner's trying to solve like a sexy murder.
Yeah, exactly.
Some kind of erotic novelist. Was murdered in a way that a rival writer wrote in their book.
Yes, I like it.
And so they're trying to solve it, and it turns out. Which one do you reckon? I think Ryan Reynolds would have to end up to be the killer. I think.
Yeah, me too. I think if Ryan Gosling does it, then it's too. People are expecting that one because you see more evil coming from him, or I think if Ryan
Reynolds plays it kind of Ryan Reynolds-y, I think it's a bit more of a.
Exactly. Have you seen Voices?
I haven't. I've heard it's great.
It's really good. Yeah, give it a watch. I love my Ryan.
That's a bit Stu from Scream, isn't it? Really?
Stu from Scream.
That's what I'm imagining.
Yeah.
He's a bit kind of lovable and goofy, and he's it all seems like he's the one making gags about
Yeah, and he's good at his job. He gets the job done. It's still nitty and gritty, but yeah, he's the one who ends up being the killer. And there has to be like a female who's in it that they're both trying to woo at the same time, but she gets killed.
Oh, the good old-fashioned love triangle.
Yeah, but she gets offed.
Great.
Yeah. I don't know how that's going to come into it, but yeah, I would like that as well.
Hey, well, we're not screenwriters, Nick, so we're just giving everybody the gold, letting them figuring out how to do it. Out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. All right, I've got one more kind of. This is probably closest to a serious one I have actually.
Oh, okay,
I would like to see a buddy cop comedy which is disappointing, but these are two actresses that I'd like to see play together.
Oh, nice. I couldn't think of a female one. Yeah, go.
It's highly likely that they have done something together. So
okay.
So do double check this for me in case I get this wrong. But I would love to see, and I think a buddy cop. Well, not necessarily even buddy cop, but like, a buddy cop movie would be a great way to get these two together. Which is unfortunate because one of these characters has done one recently that I know you love, and so one of them is Sandra Bullock. And I'd like to team her up with Julia Roberts.
Oh, Julia Roberts!
I would like to see the two of them in a buddy cop movie.
Have they done a movie together? I don't think they have.
I think they might actually have a little bit of a feud. Am I making this up? Do they have like a...
What? They have a feud?
Is this like Hot Hollywood Goss?
What is...
Or like this is probably Goss from like 4 years ago.
IMDb decides to die on me.
Of course it does. IMDb needs a feature where you can enter the names of 2 movies and it will tell you... 2 actors and it will take you to...
Well, it used to do that on the desktop. You'd highlight the thing and it'd stay... Whatever you just clicked would stay lighted up.
Yeah.
In the next search.
Ah.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this thing.
Well, I'm going to just say they haven't because then it makes my idea a good idea.
Yeah, fair deal. I like
Hollywood
it as well.
executives need to get on that soon because there's some...
see that movie.
There's some real cash in that.
Yeah, fair deal.
America's Sweethearts.
Yeah.
On screen together for the first time. Give me all your money.
What is the story behind that one?
Who cares? Doesn't matter.
You don't...
Sandra Bullock and Julia Roberts running around together on screen. Nobody gives a fuck.
Have you seen the... Oh, I actually really like the... Why isn't this... Oh, God, get fucked. Why isn't this working? Have you seen the Julia Roberts one where her daughter gets murdered, found in a dumpster, and she...
Fuck, what's that movie?
Yeah, really good.
What is that movie? Julia Roberts?
Julia Roberts, yeah. It came out 2 years ago or last year, and it is called... Secret in Their Eyes, 2015.
Oh, yeah, you've talked about that on the show before.
Yeah, I have, yeah. Watch that, man. Julia Roberts, man.
I got to be honest with you, man. I don't know if I'm keen to watch a movie like that that starts like that.
Yeah, it's full on.
Sounds pretty full on. I mean, eventually, I'm sure I'd like to watch it at some point or another, but on a tidy Friday evening that we're recording this, it definitely won't be what goes on my television anytime soon.
That's definitely a Tuesday. That's a Tuesday watch, that one. Get you through the week.
Yeah.
They haven't done a movie together, Tyson. I'm looking now. They haven't.
There you go.
Anyway,
let's make it happen.
My last one is really funny. I would like to... I'm doing a fantasy one, Tyson. This is a fantasy one. I would like Will Ferrell and Chris Farley to be the buddy cop. Chris Farley, who has now passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And their boss, who orders them around, is John Candy.
Oh.
So that's my fantasy one. I would love to see that. And that's purely comedy. You've got very physical actors doing physical stuff.
I like it.
I want to see it.
So in order to just complete the trilogy though.
Yeah.
Who would you... Let's get rid of Will Ferrell.
Why? Oh, you want the full fantasy?
Well, let's do it. Why not?
Okay. So the obvious choice is Jim Belushi then.
Yeah, well, because then I don't think you can have 3 fat funny dudes.
Yes, you can.
No, I think we need something else. We need some kind of different energy there.
All right.
Who else have we got?
Who are you going to put in there that you can think of in a split second?
Phil Hartman.
I hate Phil Hartman. I've always hated Phil Hartman. Yeah, sorry.
Oh.
I don't like Troy McClure. Look, I'm going to say it.
I don't know how to recover from that statement, Nick. You're breaking my heart a little bit.
Sorry, man. I'm sorry. I wasn't a fan of Troy McClure. And yeah, I'm not going to say anymore. Otherwise, I'll alienate our audience.
Fair call. All right, I'm going to go. What about?
Come on, give me someone. Give me. Who else? Who else is just hilarious?
Well, maybe you need someone straight to play against them.
Yeah, fair deal.
You let Chris Farley do his thing, and then you let John Candy do his thing.
All right. Well, you're obviously getting in Steve Martin then, aren't you? Are you going to watch that, Tice?
I mean, I'd watch the hell out of that, yeah. What are you talking about? Of course I would.
Because Chris Farley would be the party guy and Steve Martin's the straight man doing all the hard yards. But I like to... That was the point.
What about John Ritter?
Oh, John Ritter. Yes. Or Rob Riggle. Oh...
Rob Riggle. How did you get to Rob Riggle?
I love Rob Riggle. I love him so much. When he just seriously, I watch Step Brothers just for when he goes pow. Pow.
Look, I tell you what, he's very, very funny. Yeah, okay, I like it. I like it. Shit. I like our deceased trio. If in a happier time where we hadn't lost some of these great people.
Exactly. John Candy, man. I want to watch a John Candy movie soon.
I haven't seen a John Candy movie for a little while. I think I might watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Oh, jeez. Breaks the heart, that one at the end.
Oh, it's such a good movie. Such a good movie. All right, well, my last one...
That's a John Hughes movie, Tice.
Yeah, it is,
Did
man.
you know that?
Yeah, of course it is. John Hughes made some fucking Amazing movies, not just teen movies. He was great. My very last one is my favourite one.
Oh, I like it.
And I'm just going to go straight into it. This is a real typical first, like, super shy cop, first day on the job, put up against the old crusty, been around the block too many times, and hilarity will ensue. And that pairing is Michael Cera and Michael Shannon. Mostly because I just think in real life, Michael Cera would be so intimidated by Michael Shannon that I just would like to see them be in a room together.
I think anyone would be intimidated by Michael Shannon. Literally anyone. I would be terrified.
I would be terrified.
And if you saw Michael Cera on the street, you'd be like, "How are you doing, you little bitch? What are you doing? You're not doing much."
He'd be riding a unicycle and fucking
of course he is.
wearing a fedora or something, and
exactly.
You'd be like, "Oh yeah, there he is."
With a stupid fucking mustache.
There's always money in the banana stand.
Stupid idiot. Yeah, fair deal. I like that one, Tice. I like that one. That's a good one.
It is a good one.
I'd watch that just for Michael Shannon. I love him.
There's not much I wouldn't watch Michael Shannon in.
Yeah.
I'll be honest about that.
Yeah, fair deal.
All right, let's move on.
Okay, next question.
Shall I read one?
Next letter. Next letter.
Do you want me to read one?
Please do. Please do.
I'll read one. What have we got here?
Go for it.
All right. Oh, here we go. This is a nice one. This was emailed in to nicktysonvideotape@gmail.com. Hi, Nick and Tice. Now that it looks as though the Disney Fox purchase is a done deal, which we should probably explain to people as well. I think,
yeah. Sure.
If you haven't heard, Disney has. It looks like it's completely finished.
It's go. Yeah.
They're buying Fox, a lot of Fox studios. Really, because of what we care about. We tend to think.
We tend to just look at the superhero
stuff, but it's actually quite a lot of stuff that they're buying.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's really interesting. So now that the Disney Fox purchase is a done deal, how would you guys like to see the X-Men, Deadpool, and the Fantastic Four integrated into the MCU, if at all? Love the show. Favorite episode is still St. Elmo's Fire for some reason. Look, he's not wrong. It's a good episode.
What a champ.
Go back. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. Luke. Thanks, Luke.
You're a champion.
Emailed in nicktysonvideotape@gmail.com. If you would like to hear that episode, go back to the archive and check that one out. That is, it's on our list, volume 2, I believe.
It's on our list, yeah. We watched it. We watched the shit out of it, and god damn it, was it shit.
We had a great time hanging shit on that movie.
Talk about that, yeah, exactly.
So, Nick, this is a bit of a discussion. First of all,
yeah, go on.
There's a part of this sentence that I think we can address quickly. Sure. Do you want to see them in there at all?
In the MCU?
At all.
Oh, fuck.
Answer that yes or no to begin with, and then we can go on from there.
Mine are separate. X-Men, I don't want to see them in there at all. I think they've got their own thing going. I think it's great. Maybe Wolverine. Maybe. It's a maybe.
Yeah, so maybe some select characters from the X-Men in that.
Yeah, and it's not Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman has retired from Logan, I feel. Well, this is what I'm doing. And Deadpool either. I don't want him in the MCU. I think he's doing his own thing fine. Fantastic Four, on the other hand, I would like them. Let's third time lucky. Let's see how we go. Origin story again, obviously. I
can't do another one.
No, I can't. And that's the thing. And they've got to pull something out in order for them to. I would rather see them do this, or Tice. I would just like to see the Fantastic Four rock up in like an Ant-Man 3 or another Hulk movie. Marry them with someone else. Like I don't know. Like Black Widow hasn't had her movie yet, or the fact that Falcon.
I feel like, but if you put, you know what I mean? The thing about the Fantastic Four, I am with you. I think they should. I'm almost entirely agree with you. I think X-Men should stay in the X-Men universe. I think Deadpool should be part of the X-Men universe, and I think Fantastic Four can be part of Marvel or be part of the Fox like the X-Men universe. I don't really mind which way they go. I think it needs to join one of them. I think trying to keep it it's an isolated thing is not working for it.
No.
But having said that, I don't want to see another origin story. Definitely don't want to see another Fantastic Four origin story.
Yeah, fair deal.
I feel like if they were introduced in any other solo film, they would overshadow the solo film. Just by sheer weight of excitement. Like,
So if you think that they were married with another character, you think that they would overshadow that character?
Yeah, I think that they'd find it really hard to...
Right.
Unless it was like a cameo kind of deal like it was for Spider-Man in Civil War.
Okay.
I don't think they could
Iron Man in Homecoming?
I think that might be too much. I think that might be too much. Unless it was just one of them, like maybe Reed Richards is just hanging out in the next whatever.
No, I think you need. Well, maybe that'd be a way to introduce them, and then have a standalone. But yeah, the script needs to be airtight with this thing, with this next whatever they do with the Fantastic Four. To be honest, I'd be happy if they didn't do anything. I'd be happy if they went. You know what? The world has had enough of Fantastic Four for the next 10 years. Let's let it go for a bit, and we'll get to that. We've got enough characters. We've got so many more characters, Tyson, that we could do. We're going to let that one go for a bit, and we'll come back to it.
It's a good point. They do have
a fuck ton,
like so much material. I've never actually thought of this before, and it was just something you were mentioning just then that triggered it for me. Is that so? If, for instance, when it came to introducing all these characters into the one universe, right? Yeah. Let's say, for instance, a certain iteration of that character is not particularly well received.
Sure.
I'm trying to think of a good example. What's a character that they've wasted in the MCU?
Wasted. That's a hard one.
That is a hard one.
Wasted. Shit.
Let's say, okay, Whiplash.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, good one.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, good one.
Kind of wasted.
Yeah, very wasted.
I went to my board. Where's my board?
Where's my board?
I went to my
this
board.
Is not my board.
So now
he started out so dark. He could have been great. Yeah,
well, I mean, like surely they could have done all kinds of things with him. But so now they're in a position where can they just bring him in again as a completely different character? Do you think? Or is it like, well, we tried it with that and we fucked it, so we're done. That's it.
Are you saying that can they recast and bring
not even just recast, but completely recontextualize the character, so that next time we see them, they are
totally
barely
different.
A shadow of the person they were in that.
No, I don't. I don't think so. I think it has to be more closely to what they've done with Hulk and Rhodey. If they're going to re-image them, it's still sort of the same.
Their stories are still the same, yeah.
You know, yeah.
So let's say, for instance, they do introduce the Fantastic Four and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
They've shut the bed.
They've done it. Yeah, exactly.
So
I think that they should cut their losses and go, you know what? We're not going to touch that.
Let's give it time.
Yeah. We've bought the rights so that no one does anything with it. And we're just going to let it sit, and we're going to focus on these other characters for now. Let's concentrate on a lot more female characters out there. Let's get the Black Widow movie happening.
Yep.
Let's do Captain Marvel and things like that. Let's get those out there. Let's get more characters, and then maybe we'll come at it from there. But apart from
maybe they're saving it for a time when the universe shrinks a little bit again. Like they've been making it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. In order to reach this kind of apex that we're at the moment, I think.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe post... Well, spoilers.
This is going to be the shrinking.
Maybe not. Maybe because I think Captain Marvel is going to have to be big because it's going to be, it has to have elements of galaxy kind of stuff in it.
Yep.
But maybe kind of post that, maybe they're going to start looking at shrinking the world a little bit more. And that might be a good time for Fantastic Four maybe to kind of take over, almost kind of be introduced as a substitute when we lose Iron Man and Cap and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, fair deal.
Maybe.
Or even Tice, I would say do the X-Men movie, keep doing Deadpool, stick on that, that is a winner. Have that evolve into something that we're not going to know what is. And then, you know what, with the Fantastic Four, we're going to make it a Netflix special. We're going to do Daredevil style or Defender style Fantastic Four.
Oh, a television show.
And we're going to just shrink it down. We're going to make people fans of it again. We're going to strip it back to the bare bones and do it something like that.
Speaking of Netflix.
Yep.
Have you heard the rumors that now that Disney have bought Fox, or that basically this is almost a done deal, that they are not going to release the Dark Phoenix movie or the New Mutants movie.
I have heard this rumor. I have. And New Mutants, man, like Dark Phoenix, I don't really mind about, but the New Mutants, that actually looked decent. That actually looked like it had something to
I liked that trailer.
Bring to the table that was different, you know.
And so, yeah, what do you think of that? That we've surely got to see them, though. They've got to release them. They would have spent so much money on them. They've got to at least try and make some money back from them.
Well, not really. They don't have to do anything. They're Disney. They've got the money, Tice. They don't have to do shit.
You reckon they're willing to part with probably 250 to 300 million, let's say 250 million between the two of them? You reckon they're happy to just let 250 million go the wayside? Because they could release them, and they might not be great, but they'll make easily double their budget in international box office.
Yeah, that's a fair deal. Look, they might as well. But the thing is, they don't. The only thing that they don't have control over is the
quality.
No, and the Disney seal of approval.
Yeah,
is this kid friendly enough for us to release? You know, things like that. Or will we?
Well, I don't know if that's a real concern for him anymore after some of the more recent Marvel films. I think they're pretty comfortable making some pretty heavy
until I
things.
see Tyson. Until I see Deadpool 3. I'll answer that question. I'll answer the question. Yeah, but yeah, I think they're comfortably. They'll be happy to lose whatever money that they were going to make on that, just on how much money they made on Incredibles 2 alone. Like,
yeah, I know what you mean.
Makes bank.
Maybe I guess sure. Maybe I guess in order to ensure the quality control of it,
exactly.
Maybe they're happy to cut it loose.
Yeah, fair deal.
Anyway,
well, I think Luke.
Yeah, thanks, Luke. We appreciate. I don't know if we answered it very well, but hopefully we did.
I think we did. That was a good discussion.
Why don't we move on, Nick? What's our next question?
Oh shit! Oh, that's me. We have a question from friend of the podcast, Katie Roos.
Hey, what up, Roos?
She says, writes in, what's your favorite? Oh, wow. This is deep. What's your favorite movie and who is your favorite director? No top 5, Tyson. Have to pick one. Wow, that's hilarious.
She's cutting deep.
That's cutting deep. And what is, so that's the first question. So what is your favorite movie and who is your favorite director? And what is your favorite movie directed by your favorite director? Oh, wow. So you got 2 separate questions there, Tys. Or no, 3. 3, Jesus.
So there's actually quite a lot to talk about there.
Yeah, that's
and look, Roos brings up an interesting point, I think, about are your favorite movies directed by your favorite directors?
That's true. She's put it in the end. She's put my favorite musical song is not from my favorite musical, which in turn is not my favorite composer. Similarly, my favorite book series is not my favorite author. So I wondered if the same held true for you guys with favourite movies. Good question, Katie Roos.
Thank you, Roos, for the question. Roos emailed us at nicktysonvideotape@gmail.com with that question. She's 100% on the money. I think it does hold true for film as well. My favourite film is not from my favourite director.
Really?
And my favourite film of my favourite director is not my favourite film. Like, it's a...
Really?
Yeah.
I think I'm the only person. But I don't have a favourite film. There's no one...
No, and that's the point of Roos's question as well, is because she knows that we dodge this question wholeheartedly. So when forced to do so, Nicholas, what do you choose?
Well, at the top of in the top 3 is always...
Nope.
No, not top 3. We're not doing top 3. Okay, fine. All right. No.
We've got to appease the listeners, man. No lists, nothing.
Fair deal. My favourite movie is by my favourite director. So David Fincher is my director, and Seven is my favourite movie.
All right, nice.
Yeah, it's hilarious that it aligned like that.
No, that's good.
Only because if I think of other movies that hit my top 5 that would be a contender for number 1, they're definitely not my favourite directors.
Sure.
They're like, no, I can give it. I can take or leave them, but if David Fincher brings out a film I will see it within the first week of its release. Sure. I know that much.
No, so I get what you're saying. It's kind of like if it's kind of worked out nicely for you because, yeah, like I said, we all have kind of like a floating top 5 to 10.
Yeah, it's hard.
At any one time. And it's always kind of like if someone asks me that question, I end up following it up with 20 other questions. Well, what are we talking about?
Exactly.
What day of the week
what
is
genre?
it? Is it summer? Because it totally changes in summer and winter.
Yeah, exactly.
And so if once you get that kind of floating list, it is, I suppose there probably would be a couple in there that'd buy who I would call my favourite director, but...
Yeah. So it's favourite director, Tyson? Answer Katie's question.
Should I do the film first, then?
Oh, it's up to you.
Well, we'll float around then.
Do the film.
All right, I'll do the film. So, and this is, because I don't ever answer this question the same way, so I don't actually ever have...
So this is for today, though.
This is today, and I was kind of like, what am I going to say today? Because I want it to be one that I just think encapsulates how I'm feeling at the moment. And so I'm going to go with Shawshank Redemption.
Shawshank, nice.
Because I think, as a film, I think it is such an incredibly wholly immersive experience. It is a film that you can put on, and for nearly 3 hours, you are completely invested. Yeah. And I would say invested in a way that no other movie can make me invested.
Oh, really? That's a bit full on. Nice.
And so even like I can acknowledge that other movies are probably better made or better written or better performed.
Oh, absolutely.
Blah, blah, blah.
There are tons more movies better than Seven, but not for me.
As a movie that makes me completely forget that I am watching a movie, Shawshank is the best at that, I think.
Nice.
And fuck, it's so good. And I mean, everyone loves it. It's not a shock to anyone to be like, oh, wow, Shawshank, what a controversial choice. It's not in any way, shape or form controversial. I know that.
Do people think that about Seven?
I don't think that's controversial,
Where do you rank Seven?
No, I love Seven. I really do. It's I haven't seen it for a long time.
I love it. I love it because I love the dark. Like it's and it doesn't show you the way that he's directed it, the way that it's raining in every scene, apart from the last scene.
Finally.
The reveal and all that stuff, but it's not the reveal for me. It's way before that. It's the characters of Morgan and Brad, which in watching Seven as well, another reason why I love it is because growing up with it as a teenager, I was always on, I think I've spoken about this before, I was always on, not to be on someone's side, but I always saw the point of view of Brad Pitt's character. I'm like, yeah, kick in the door, fuck it. Why? We know who he is. And now that I've grown up and watched it again, it's grown with me. And I'm like, wow, no, Brad is the rookie dumbass. And
he's the hothead.
He's the hothead, exactly, and it's better.
It's unquestionably a great, exceptionally well-made movie. And I think it's funny because you said it yourself, like because you prefer darker things, and I actually really do like dark movies. I have no issues with them, but I find their rewatchability a little bit limited. And so, in order for me to really pick a film that I could call my favorite, it needs to be something that I could put on at any point, any day, any time, and be up for it. And I don't feel that way about Seven. There's no way. It was,
you want to.
It would have to be a very particular time.
Yeah. So, who's your favorite director, Tice?
Well, this is I think we might have talked about this before, and I only say this because, I think it's the same thing. I think there are better directors than the director that I choose as my favorite director. Yeah. But there is a streak from this director, and that it has something to do with maybe what we're talking about later as well. That I really, really enjoy. That makes me, and within that streak, there are 3, perhaps 4 movies that I could say would be in
the top 10 at least.
Like at least top 10. And that's pretty impressive, I think. Hang on one second.
Sorry, Katie, that we're talking about top 10s. I know you didn't want us to.
Well, we haven't actually listed a top 10 at any point, so this is good. So I'm going to say, because I think it's just for ease of conversation, I'm going to say that my favourite director is Oliver Stone. But there is a massive asterisk on this one, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
And that is that I unfortunately put a time limit on this.
Ooh.
This is not the Oliver Stone of now.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that Oliver Stone is not someone I'm particularly interested in. I am most interested in the Oliver Stone of
his cocaine days.
Mid-80s, early to mid-80s.
Yeah, fair deal.
and running up until, I would say, the last... I love Any Given Sunday.
Same.
But I think U-Turn is pretty disappointing, and that was a couple of years before.
I remember it being awesome.
But pretty much anything post 1999. So since we hit the year 2000, my Oliver Stone love has dropped off incredibly. But the problem is, I can't look past these films that he's directed in this time. Salvador, Platoon, Wall Street, Talk Radio, Born on the 4th of July, The Doors, JFK, Heaven and Earth, Natural Born Killers, Nixon, U-Turn, Any Given Sunday.
Jesus.
They're not all great movies. Like I'm happy to admit that I'm not the hugest fan of The Doors, even though I tend to try and rewatch it every couple of years for some reason.
Yeah, man.
I think U-Turn is pretty garbage. I think Natural Born Killers is I have very mixed feelings about Natural Born Killers.
Questionable. Yeah.
But God, like JFK, Born on the 4th of July, and Platoon.
What a streak.
Are three films that I think are practically flawless.
Yeah.
And so for that alone, I'm just like, wow, fuck yeah. Like, surely, like...
Of course.
I can't think of anyone else that I love even two of their movies as much as I love those three movies from Oliver Stone. So
yeah.
I'd have to choose him.
Yeah, fair deal.
Nicholas?
And in saying that, like, there's literally two movies that I'm not a fan of David Fincher's. I think that's true. I think that's what I looked at. And looking at the question, only because, and I understand that he wants to change up his medium a bit. That's why he's doing a little bit of television. And I loved House of Cards. That's not to say what it's going to turn into, which I think is a great thing. Focusing more on Claire. But Mindhunter, the TV series, he may not have anything massive to do. Like, he produces it, but still it's, it's still his. But like starting from the start, you've got Alien 3, which is one of my favorites. You've got 7, you've got The Game, you've got Fight Club. Panic Room is where I tune out. But then you're right back on top of it with Zodiac. And I'm a huge fan of Benjamin Button. I know not a lot of people are. They kind of...
I liked it well enough. I'd have to watch it again, to be honest.
It's a little long, and that's a thing. Fincher likes a long movie, but then you've... Following that up with Social Network and Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and Jesus.
It's a good run. It's a very good run.
God.
So if not 7 then, which one would you pick as your favourite?
Out of those?
If not 7.
Jesus. If not 7, going on a film, like you said, with Shawshank, that you could literally put it on for its rewatchability, and just from what this film accomplished, I would say Fight Club.
All right, nice. Yeah, fair call.
Yeah.
I would say if I had to pick one of the 3 that I was listing before, I would say JFK. JFK, my favourite of Oliver Stone's.
I still look at JFK and go, God, I want to watch that again. Like
I think it's an absolute, like, just the most ridiculous accomplishment of filmmaking.
Yeah,
like it is something else. Whether or not you buy into any of the actual theories, I think is totally irrelevant.
I think it's irrelevant. Yeah, totally. What is so you don't like anything Oliver Stone's doing nowadays, Tice? What's he doing next? What's his next movie?
Oh, it's not like I don't like anything.
Because there's got to be something that you were like, oh, that was not too bad. That he's done recently.
Well, it's I've kind of, because it's been so hit and miss, I'm not as drawn to watching one of his films as much anymore. Whereas I really used to be.
So I think I watched, was it Savages? Was it
Savages? Was
it wasn't Savages. Yeah. No, I didn't watch.
I mean,
that.
Alexander is an absolute mess. World Trade Center was disappointing.
Wall
and then
Street.
I haven't seen Snowden, so I'm not really, we'll see. And I'm not interested in the Wall Street sequel at all. I think that's a terrible idea.
Yeah, fair deal. Well, Fincher is doing the sequel to World War Z.
Is that definitely still happening or what?
No, well, it's a maybe, but he likes to keep us guessing because he was tied to. Oh no, I'm thinking of Aronofsky, but Yeah, I'll see anything Fincher brings out. I really
nice
will.
one. Yeah. All right, well, thanks for your question, Bruce. I hope we answered it well.
Katie, Bruce.
Well, speaking of, it's a similar question. I'm going to go into, we've got a question here. Hey guys, just a random thought. What do you think is the best unbroken streak of great movies from one director? I think the Scorsese run from Departed through to 2016's Silence is pretty stellar. Does anyone else spring to mind? Cheers, Jacob. Thanks, Jacob. Thanks for writing in.
Jacob.
That's a cool question, Jacob. I very much like that question.
I like this question. This was really good. So I went down all the directors that I like, and to find out my favorite run, I had to just pick the runs. So you've got because there's runs of longest, yes, but there are some runs, Tyson, that only do 4 films, which those 4 films, Tyson, are a bit
I don't think 4's enough of a run, though.
You don't think 4's enough?
No.
4 is a fucking run,
yeah,
man.
but I want to know I want to know what the longest run is.
Longest run.
I think that's what Jacob wants us to talk about as well. Like, what's those ones that it's like 4. That's an incredible accomplishment, 4 in a row.
Yeah,
but
4. That's decent.
Have we got it? What's past that though? Because I'm gonna look up what the Scorsese run is that he's talking about.
Yeah, fair deal. You look that up because I went down. So the 4, because the 4 that comes to mind for me, and they're 4 that are just amazing, is because I was like, clearly you can't go past the Coen brothers. So they come up, and if we're talking about them, they're a run of 4, and the 4 is Fargo, Big Lebowski, Oh Brother Where Art Thou, and The Man That Wasn't There. That's intense, man.
And so tell me what happens after Man That Wasn't There?
Intolerable Cruelty.
So that kind of breaks the streak.
I can't.
What was before Fargo?
Before Fargo was Hudsucker Proxy, and a lot of people love that because after that is Barton Fink, which a lot of people love as well.
Well, I suppose you could extend it.
Exactly. I haven't seen Hudsucker.
I suppose that's a bit of a...
Barton Fink. So yeah. So and the other one on top of that, which is a 4, which is Aronofsky, which is like the 4 of this is intense. So starting with Requiem, then going on to Requiem, then The Fountain, then The Wrestler, then Black Swan. Jesus, Tyson.
It's good. It's a good 4 movies.
That's a fucking run, man.
That's not a bad run. I reckon we can do better.
But you like long runs, okay?
I reckon we can do better. I'll give you the Scorsese run, and I'm actually going to extend it a little bit because Jacob's just gone from 2006 to now, so over the past 10 years. I'm going to extend it back to 2002.
Ooh.
Starting with Gangs of New York, a movie that I personally think is exceptional. Yes. So we've got Gangs of New York, The Aviator, The Departed, Shutter Island, Hugo.
Yep.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yep.
Silence.
Jesus. Have you seen Silence?
I have not seen Silence.
You have not seen Silence.
And also scattered amongst that, we have like the Rolling Stones live concert film.
Oh yeah.
We've
the George Harrison
doco
thing that he did. Yeah.
That's
plus Boardwalk. Jesus, you can't count
streak.
Boardwalk.
And you could even go back further if you want and add in Bringing Out the Dead, a pretty underrated Scorsese movie, I think.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it. I've heard it's good.
So that's an epic run. Epic.
I'm not going to run. I can't. Well, the clincher for me is Aviator. I didn't like it that much. I was like,
Well, there you go. That's interesting. And this is the thing. This is what I like about this question is that a lot of people's will get broken by.
Yeah. So it's the longest streak. And Hugo was good. But
I didn't like Hugo, so that kind of breaks it for me.
It wasn't great.
But I'm willing to admit that I'm in the minority on Hugo. Okay. All right. Well, I did come up with a few.
All right. Well, I've got 2, I think. No.
Sure.
I have 3.
What do you
have 3?
I have got 3. One of them is only 6.
Yep. I've got 6 here.
I've got 2 that are 6, and then I've got 1 that is...
Gone.
9.
Jesus Christ. I didn't even get close to that.
My run of 9, though, is dependent on the fact that I actually haven't seen all of it in it, but I am assuming that they will be great.
Yeah, fair deal. Well, that's what I assume. I haven't seen Platoon, Oliver Stone, but I assume that is fucking amazing.
Platoon is something else. Yeah.
Well, I've got 2 6s and a 7.
All right, go for it. Let's go with the 6s.
Oh, let's go with the 6. Let's start with because I want to bring this up first because this is everyone's going to jump on. Well, Quentin Tarantino was the first one that comes to mind because he's had so many hits, and everyone jumps. Like, if you're looking at a director that everyone goes to see, if he brings out a new movie, everyone flocked to Hateful Eight. Everyone did. Everyone couldn't wait for it. So for me, this is a streak of 6, which starts at 2003 at Kill Bill Volume 1, then to Kill Bill Volume 2, then to I'm not going to count Sin City. I'm going to go then to Death Proof, which I loved, Inglourious Bastards, Django Unchained, and that's where I'm going to cut it out because I need to see Hateful Eight again. You can count Hateful Eight, but that's where I'm going to cut it out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, Hateful Eight counted.
All right, nice. I like that streak. It's different for me because mine starts earlier but ends at Death Proof. So for me, it's actually not an unbroken streak. It's 2 rather decent runs for me.
Yeah. I just don't count Jackie Brown. I couldn't. I knew what he was trying to do. I just didn't jump on board.
Sure, fair enough. Yeah. But that can't be denied. That cannot be denied. Yeah. All right. Well, my first one, I'm going to go with Christopher Nolan first. I think.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Memento, Insomnia, Batman Begins, The Prestige, Dark Knight, Inception, and for me, Dark Knight Returns.
Okay. Yep. Dark Knight Returns, Tyson. Jesus.
And I would
hang on. You're talking about Rises, not Returns. Rises.
Yes, of course I am. Thank you.
Really? See, I looked at this. Insomnia, Tyson. When was the last time you saw Insomnia?
Oh no, it's been a very long time.
Yeah, so I think you need to watch that again because I think that's going to change.
Okay. Well, let's say I start from Batman Begins because I'm actually going to add one on the other end.
Yeah. Oh,
Batman Begins, Prestige, Dark Knight, Inception, Dark Knight Rises, Interstellar.
And you're not going to go one more with Dunkirk?
And Dunkirk, of course.
What are you insane?
What am I insane? Why did I stop there? Maybe because I stopped because Dark Knight Rises killed the streak, but for me it doesn't.
Yeah, fair deal. It kills it for me. But yeah. That's decent. I like that.
It's a good run.
But yeah, that's a good run.
What else you got, Nick?
Well, staying on the streak. This is. I like this streak. I think you'll appreciate this one, Thomas.
Yeah.
We're going to go. This is a streak of 6. We're going to go back to the 80s when a man came out and he had his own. He had his own style, and for some reason he sold out. And I'm talking about starting at 1988 with Tim Burton's Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice, Tyson. Then Batman. Then Edward Scissorhands, then Batman Returns, then Ed Wood, Mars Attacks, and that's it. And then it stops because I think Sleepy Hollow breaks that. Even though I like Sleepy Hollow, but it's not in there.
Oh, so I don't like Mars Attacks.
Oh, really? How could you not like Mars Attacks?
I love Sleepy Hollow.
Yep. So and then after that is Planet of the Apes.
And that's where it dies for everybody. No
one in their right mind likes that fucking film.
So without Mars Attacks in there, that would be an incredible good streak.
Exactly. How good is Ed Wood?
Ed Wood is so great. I love it.
But yeah, Beetlejuice, Batman, Edward Scissorhands, Batman.
Not bad, man. Not bad. Okay, I'm going to do my next one.
Yep.
My James Cameron. James Cameron streak.
Oh, yeah.
He may be a weird unit, but it's a good streak. You got Terminator, Aliens, The Abyss, Terminator 2, True Lies, Titanic.
So good.
That is a good bunch of 6 movies. I know for The Abyss might be some people's breaking point.
That is mine, yeah. Only because I haven't seen it, though.
Sure.
I'm not gonna count one because I haven't seen it.
Yeah. I loved it when I used to watch it like a long time ago. For some reason, it was like not a kids movie for me, but I watched it a lot as a kid for some reason, even though it was not very. There wasn't a lot of action in it, and it was pretty slow moving. I still loved it though. Like
I get the Abyss mixed up with the Cocoon. Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember Cocoon. The thing about the old people getting young. No, The Abyss is what's her name from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Mary Elizabeth Mastantonio, meeting like water aliens.
Oh right, water aliens.
Yeah.
Oh, and Michael Biehn is in this thing.
Yeah, of course he is.
Michael Biehn.
It's a James Cameron movie.
James Cameron movie, of course.
So that's a pretty great streak too. I think there might even be, as far as quality goes, that might be the strongest. I reckon.
Oh really? That's nice.
Don't you reckon? Like, is there really? Yeah. There's. I mean, I haven't seen True Lies for a very long time. It might be garbage, but
dude, no, it holds up.
Holds up.
Fucking True Lies. Fuck yeah. Yeah, I like that one. I like that streak. That's good.
And you've got your 7 now?
My 7. So this is my last one.
Yeah.
And this is as far as quality goes, this is where, and I thought but only because I've watched this once and I watched it recently that I was like, there's no way that this is going to be good. Because you think when you go back far enough in a director's body of work that you're like, oh, well, it wasn't really great at the start. But no, I count this one. So the director is Mr. Wes Anderson, and it starts at 1998 at Rushmore. It goes to Royal Tenenbaums, which it kind of wavers, but I think
love Royal
Tenenbaums. Then Life Aquatic, then Darjeeling Limited, which I thought was good, but it was still a mad feat. And then from there, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Moonrise, which is my favorite, Moonrise Kingdom. And then after that, Grand Budapest Hotel. And then I'm going to count Isle of Dogs because there's no way that that's going to be shit. Because that just looks amazing.
It does look great. It's a good streak. I think it's the same thing. It has to break for me because I haven't seen Darjeeling Limited.
Darjeeling, yeah.
So maybe it will be a completely unbroken streak for me because I do love. Actually, to be honest, I think Fantastic Mr. Fox kills it for me.
Oh, really?
I didn't love Fantastic Mr. Fox.
I love the Foxy. Yeah, it was good.
I did struggle a little bit with that.
How good was Moonrise, though? Jesus.
Moonrise Kingdom is beautiful. Grand Budapest is my favourite, yeah.
Yeah, that's Sam's favourite as well. Every time I go, let's watch a movie, she goes, yeah, let's watch Grand Budapest. I'm like, babe, we just watched it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and talk about rewatchability. That movie is super rewatchable. It's sad, it's funny, it's bonkers. Yeah. It's so colourful, and it's just a stunning, really, really great experience watching that film.
Where's this brings up for me, Tice? Where is Wes Anderson? Because look at that streak. Where is Wes Anderson's Best Director Oscar?
It's
They're
coming.
Not gonna, you reckon?
Yeah, I think it is coming because I think for a little while they didn't want to take him seriously. Because it was because of his very deliberate aesthetic. They kind of thought it might have been like,
this is a thing he's going to grow out of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or like it's a bit shtick, and I don't think the Academy like rewarding shtick. But it's getting to a point now where it's kind of like, no, you have to acknowledge that he's actually created. Well, not created, but he has his own popularized. A very particular brand of visual storytelling. So, and I think they need to acknowledge that. All right, so my long streak, which I am cheating a little bit because I haven't seen all of these.
All right.
But based on what I know about this man, I can't imagine I'm not going to like these films.
Jesus. And this is a streak of...
Well, 9, I think.
9. Okay.
And so the man is John Carpenter.
Right.
And from... The man and the legend, John Carpenter.
Jesus.
This is the run. From Halloween,
yeah.
The Fog, Escape from New York,
yep.
The Thing,
yep.
Christine,
which was gold,
Starman,
which I love,
Big Trouble in Little China,
which if you haven't seen, you're an idiot.
Exactly. Prince of Darkness,
yes,
and They Live. I think might be the last one because I believe after They Live, it is Village of the Damned.
No, it is Memoirs of Invisible.
Oh no, well, that definitely breaks it. That was
a
shambles, I heard. And that's speaking of William Goldman. He wrote the screenplay for that. And his chapter in his book about writing the screenplay, or I think he might have got fired. Anyway, I don't think there's much of his screenplay left. But the chapter in his book about the writing of that film is ridiculously hilarious.
Well, I haven't seen Prince of Darkness or They Live, which have been on the list for so long.
I have not seen They Live or Christine. But I'm currently reading Christine for the first time because I am such a Stephen King fan. Yeah, and so it's the minute I finish that book, I'm going to watch this film. And They Live is just one every now and then I check to see if it's on streaming and it's just not around. And I'm like, I'll get to it at some point.
Yeah, fair deal.
But those other films, that is a run.
Christine, Tice. So back before, ladies and gentlemen, me and Tyson had this podcast, Tice posted on Facebook to do a horror movie every day of October, and I actually did that. I was like, Tyson, that is a fucking boss idea. I'm going to do it, and I watched Christine for the first time. And Tyson, you won't be disappointed, man.
Awesome.
It's awesome.
I actually can't wait.
It really is.
And as far as the rest of it goes, like there's so much quality in there. And I'm glad you're a big fan of Starman because I think Starman is just beautiful.
I haven't seen that in ages.
I watched it maybe 18 months ago. And I loved it. I just loved it so much. It was beautiful. But yeah, so I think that might be the longest. Is there a longer one? Anyone? If you do think you find a longer streak, why don't you write us an email at nicktysonvideotape@gmail.com?
Yeah,
or maybe track us down on our Facebook or on Twitter and tell us.
I think I'm going to, because of this question, because of what I'm going to put up our longest streaks on the Facey.
Oh, yeah, good call.
And we'll see what people say.
That'll be fun. I think we've got one more, Nick. Is that it?
What do we?
Just one more?
Hang on, wait. No, I think that was it, Tice.
No, we do have one more. Yeah.
Do we?
It does not require any preparation.
Oh, right. Oh, awesome.
I have a question here from friend of the podcast, Rachel. She has written, "Hey, Nick and Tice. My question is, can you do an episode on the film Beaches? And if the answer is no, can I ask why? And if your reasoning behind that is silly, can you change your mind and just give the people what they want?" Cheers, Rachel.
Oh, God. Oh, shit.
What do you think, Nick? What are the chances? What are the chances?
Beaches, Tice. I'm gonna admit something, Tice. I've never seen Beaches.
I've never seen Beaches.
Oh, fuck. So basically, this is going to be... Thank you, Rachel. This is going to be a on the list, I guess.
I guess it's going to have to be.
Fuck,
it's on the list.
Beaches.
Beaches? Do you know what? It's, giving the people what they want. But...
Beaches.
Yeah.
That is gold.
I'm
like
sure,
that.
Look, I'm sure there's probably enough in Beaches to sustain an episode. Yeah, I would say so. We've managed to sustain episodes out of fucking role models, for God's sake. So we can get,
Or the Christmas fucking Prince.
The Christmas Prince. Well, that was pretty easy, really. All things considered, there was so much ridiculousness in that movie.
Beaches. Is Beaches Wing Beneath My Wings?
It is indeed. Is that what that comes from? Oh, you better believe it.
Oh, this is going to...
I think there might be tears, Nicholas.
Yeah, I think there might be.
I think I might cry. It might be good old-fashioned... I could cry on the podcast. I could be like... It's just...
Cry on the podcast?
Yeah, who knows, man? Who knows? I'm not prepared for...
Oh, well, Rach, thanks. That's a nice... She's ended it nicely there. I like that. That's giving me something... Can we stream Beaches, Tyson?
I don't know. To be honest, I haven't looked.
To buy Beaches?
It raises an interesting question.
Fair deal.
Every film... is somebody's favourite film.
Exactly.
And for me, I have zero interest in watching Beaches. Like, actually none. But I know for a lot of people it is their favourite film. So at some point it's kind of like, all right, well, let's show me what you got, Beaches.
It's always the one when it's on free to air, people go, oh, now I'm stuck in watching Beaches. And I'm like, really? Really? Beaches? Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Are we sure it's not a typo and she hasn't written The Beach?
Leonardo DiCaprio's finest work.
Yeah. It's not The Beach? No?
No.
Okay, take it easy.
I'm trying to think of another one.
It's not... What's another one?
Jesus, no, I've got nothing else. I don't even know why I tried. Awful. Beach Bunnies 2.
Oh, House Bunny.
It's not the House Bunny?
It's not the House Bunny? We're way off track already.
Yeah.
Who is in Beaches, Tyson? It's
Bette Midler, and I think is it Deborah Winger?
Deborah Winger?
No, I think I'm making that up. I think I'm totally making Barbara Hershey?
I have no idea. Beaches was the 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's 88. Yeah, there you go.
It is... Oh, yeah, Barbara Hershey. Well done.
Barbara Hershey? I got there a second time. Who the fuck is Deborah Winger?
Who the fuck is Deborah Winger?
Is that Officer and a Gentleman?
On next week's podcast, we talk about who the fuck is Deborah Winger. That's hilarious. Well, Beaches, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, maybe sometime soon.
The cover is so iconic, Tice.
Oh, mate, isn't it just? And that song. Hey, I think that's going to wrap us up, Nicholas.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Nick Tyson Videotape. Well, that was a decent...
No, that's our feature prez.
That's our feature prez,
We've got the rest of the show to do.
I know that.
That's
good.
If you'd like to be part of our next mailbag, people, you can email us at nicktysonvideotape@gmail.com.
That's true.
You can tweet us. Tweet at us.
Yeah, you can link us in a tweet, I believe.
Great. Or you can write on our Facebook.
That's true. Or you can write on our Instagram.
Or in Instagram, yeah. And anything at all, really, because we'd love to be able to, as you can tell, we either just talk shit about something for a little bit, we have a, hopefully, somewhat, insightful
serious
conversation.
Hopefully.
So depending what you're after from Nick and Tice, maybe you can dictate the question.
Yeah,
if you want some lols for a bit, ask us a silly question. If you want some serious chat, ask us a serious question. But that was a lot of fun. I do like doing the mailbag episodes. It's
that was good, yeah.
It's good fun.
Yeah.
Hey, Nick, let's move on to...
All right, to...
What did you watch this week?
Oh,
that was bad. We went out of time and everything.
Was that bad? Oh, I think we're Skyping. It's not
exactly.
It's not our fault. Shut up, people.
Don't give us a hard time.
Don't give us a hard time.
What did you watch this week, Nick?
I am one episode off finishing season 2 of Glow.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, and for those playing the home game, I am a wrestling fan. I've watched WWE wrestling most of my life.
You have.
It's gone past being embarrassing now. Do I know it's fake? Well, I'm not an idiot. It's not really fake. They do those things. It's just it's choreographed, and I prefer my fighting with a sword.
It's more like a stunt show.
It is. It's a soap opera for me. But Glow season 1 was awesome, and I really love where it left it, especially because it's set in the 80s. Anything in the 80s right now, and Sam made me realize, especially after the trailer for Ready Player One, which I still haven't watched yet, Tice.
Ready Player One.
Yeah, it's available for streaming, I believe, already.
Oh, cool.
Or to hire, anyway. How much I love the 80s. You think having a podcast and talking about the 80s so much with my friend Tyson would point that out to me, but it doesn't. Instead, it's a TV show called Glow, and anything Stranger Things. But yeah, Glow season 2 is good. It's not just and here's more of what you wanted. It's no, we're going to play with it.
Okay, great.
And which is really good. You care about the characters, which is great. And not last episode, but the episode before that, I think it was the 6th.
Yeah.
Instead of doing so, the episode left on a sort of a cliffhanger-y type deal.
Okay.
And instead of doing what happened, they actually ran an episode of Glow. What you would see if you watched the episode of Glow.
Oh, cool.
So they did things like what led into the wrestling match, an episode, like a little segment of storyline of what happens to spark that wrestling match. And then they did like adverts of the 80s to buy the toys. And then they did a We Are the World ripoff with all the girls singing. And it was it was fucking gold.
Yeah,
and it was funny as hell. Yeah, it was really, it was taking a chance and it nailed it. And so I'm on my last episode, I believe. Okay. And bring it on. It's a rad show.
And
I love
it's picked up for another season, is it?
I haven't heard anything yet. I believe so.
Cool.
But yeah, on Netflix, people, jump on it.
Very good. I'm just going to talk about one thing this week. Just recently, I rewatched for the first time in a very long time, probably like a good 15 years, I think. I watched Beverly Hills Cop, the first one.
Nice one.
Because I tend to go to the second one much more than the first one. If I kind of think I want to watch a Beverly Hills Cop movie, for some reason I watch the second one. I think it's all the Tony Scottness of it, like the way he just shoots Beverly Hills. Yeah, it's just it's ridiculous. It's actually, is the second one set in Beverly Hills as well? Or do they come to him and... Yeah, I can't remember. Anyway, the way he shoots... I prefer Tony Scott's direction to Martin Brest's, I believe he's the director of this one.
It is Martin Brest.
Of Scent of a Woman fame. I think that's probably...
Scent of a Woman. Fucking rad movie.
Did he direct Meet Joe Black? Is that Martin Brest?
He did. Well, fucking... how the fuck do you remember that
that's
shit?
Stupid.
Jesus.
I don't like Martin Brest very much as a director, I've decided, because I was... Okay. Now, I like Beverly Hills Cop, don't get me wrong, but I think that movie works entirely on the charisma of Eddie Murphy.
Knowing Scent of a Woman back to back and line for line, I would say that anyone could have said, I am the director of that movie, and it would do the same thing. So, in line with that as well.
Well, maybe I'm being a bit harsh because maybe he did direct the acting, but... I don't think... I also think that some of the other characters in this film, I don't think work very well. I think there's some legitimately bad acting going on. And
in number one, you're talking about...
But aside from Eddie Murphy, who is just... it is so clear why he became a superstar. He just owns every single frame that he's in. And, some interesting side characters like Balky from Perfect Strangers as Serge, the shopkeeper guy who's just hilarious. And some decent villain turns. And Ronnie Cox doing like a weirdly kind of sympathetic police captain, which is weird because I'm so used to Ronnie Cox being an asshole.
Ronnie Cox, man, what a champ.
But yeah, like I was amazed because I was looking this up on IMDb. It was nominated for Best Original Screenplay at the Oscars.
Whoa!
And I'm thinking about it in my head and I'm going, okay, but...
What was the 80s? Hang on, 84?
How much of this screenplay, like, the stuff that really works in the screenplay is the stuff that I think Eddie Murphy improvised. Like, that's the stuff that I think is the best parts of this screenplay. The actual story itself, it's fine. The interplay between the cops and Eddie Murphy, like the stuff that is clear that he had to follow the script on, it's fine. But the movie comes to life in the bits where it's just Eddie Murphy being Eddie Murphy. And I have to assume that he improvised a lot of that. But anyway.
I like that.
It's funny.
I need to watch these again. I really do.
Yeah,
I haven't seen 3.
I used to watch 3 a whole heap when I was younger because I had it on a VHS ripped off another, like a rented VHS.
Oh, yeah.
We did the whole set up the 2 VHS situation.
So
I did watch that quite a lot as a kid. 2 has always been my favourite. And I'd say 2 probably still is my favourite, even though I can tell it's not as good a movie as 1.
Yeah.
It's on a technical level, it's far more impressive, I think.
3 is John Landis as well.
Yeah, 3's not very good. Yeah, but it's an interesting run of directors. You'd think John Landis would be a great fit for this, but he's just not.
Okay.
So yeah, there you go. Bit of Beverly Hills Cop action. But definitely recommend it if you haven't seen it before, especially if you kind of don't understand. If Eddie Murphy's just only ever been the Nutty Professor and on
Which
for you.
Like this, the story of Eddie Murphy makes me sad. Like I don't know why he went into this kid tornado of doing Norbit and all that shit, you know, and all of these things that just were lined up for failure. And why did he stop like being the adult and like I understand he had kids at that point and things like that, but he just stopped doing adult movies, and that's why I've always wanted to watch Dreamgirls because it was supposed to be his comeback, and he plays a sort of Little Richard type character. Yeah, and
he's had a very interesting career. I'm a big fan of what he does. Obviously, I think even amongst all these garbage kids movies and stupid things that nobody cares about, there are occasional bright sparks as well. Still, so hopefully he kind of finds his feet again soon. Because I'd love to see him in like a legit R-rated comedy where he can he can get back to being the obnoxious loudmouth, quick-witted kind of guy he used to be. All right, hey Nick, shall we cross some streams?
Cross some streams.
Crossing the streams.
Yeah, I like it.
You got anything yet?
I have nothing.
All right, well, I'm going to go with mine. On Netflix, they just added, kind of recently, I think maybe about 2 days ago, you can watch J.J. Abrams' Super 8.
Super 8.
A movie that I think was relatively popular when it came out, but has since kind of isn't really in the conversation much anymore. It's not one of those... I remember it being a huge deal in the promotion. Remember there was that... Because no one really knew what it was about.
Yeah.
And it was J.J. Abrams was doing his J.J. Abrams thing, and it was making it a bit of a mystery box. And...
It was just a train. I remember the train.
Yeah, there was the train and something kind of
and you were like, what the
clawing
fuck?
Against the wall and stuff. And what we ended up getting was like the most Steven Spielberg film that Spielberg didn't direct.
Didn't do anything at all,
And so we get this kind of small town American kind of story about loss and mourning and, all kind of told through the lens of these kids that want to make movies and encounter this escaped kind of alien creature. It's beautiful. It's
amazing.
Super, super emotional. You get to see Kyle Chandler, my boy Kyle Chandler.
Nice. Props to Kyle Chandler.
That's it. Coach Taylor for life. Clear eyes, full hearts. And it's I would watch that guy in anything. Same thing. I can't recommend it enough. It's just on Netflix. If you kind of missed it because, I don't know, for whatever reason, because you heard it was... I think this is the problem with some of the J.J. Abrams mystery box stuff, is once it's no longer a mystery, I think sometimes the need to see the movie is removed.
Okay.
And so I think maybe if you didn't see this because you went, it's just like an escaped alien, I didn't need to see that. It's definitely worth seeing, especially if you have any kind of interest in that mid-'80s Steven Spielberg thing that he was doing, early to mid-'80s.
Yeah, man.
He's really kind of managed to capture that look exceptionally well.
It's
just on Netflix. Super 8.
Nice one. Super 8. I like it. Well, I'm scrolling down here and I'm trying to find one. So bear with me 1 second because I had one before and now I've lost it. How funny is that?
Oh, well done.
Is that funny? Would you say that's funny?
I wouldn't say necessarily funny. Ha ha.
Wouldn't say funny. Ha ha.
No.
Oh, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen this movie, there is something wrong with you. The people who are fans of musicals will know this very well.
Oh, here we go.
This is one of my favorite Tim Curry performances. It is the Rocky Horror Picture Show
very good.
On Netflix.
And,
on Netflix. Watch it because this is there's a reason that this is a cult movie and everyone like gets dressed up and takes this not seriously but loves it, a little hurty love towards Rocky Horror. They're very protective over Rocky Horror. If you say bad words about Rocky Horror, you'll come up against some mean fans, which is great.
Oh, absolutely.
But I love the everything from the start to all of the songs to Meatloaf to the end to all of the things in between and I've never seen Rocky Horror live only because I don't think anyone could come even close to filling Tim's shoes.
Sure.
or stilettos, however you want to say it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Craig McLachlan is definitely not that person.
Well, it's definitely not him anymore. So,
I just
probably for the best.
When those things come back, not to tie away from them to the movie, but when someone, Melbourne is doing Rocky Horror again. Let's put on Rocky Horror. Fantastic. Do you know how many actors there are in Melbourne that are fresh and new and could maybe bring something different to the role?
Yes,
and aren't in their 50s?
Yes.
But anyway.
We are aware. It's a broken system.
I digress. Rocky Horror, people, see it. It's life changing. Especially, I remember, and I have a good story of Rocky Horror. So the first time I saw it, Tice, I had a cold and I had the fever.
Oh,
so I was
that's an interesting way to watch that film.
Exactly,
yeah.
And I watched it at the start, and it starts with obviously, is it Magenta's lips? I think.
You're asking the wrong person about having a big photo memory of it.
You know who directs Meet Joe Black? I like it.
That's right. You're right.
Yeah, so my fever dreams was in and out of watching the Rocky Horror. So
that is a way to watch that movie for sure.
Exactly.
I'm gonna be the probably the unpopular opinion in this and say that I don't enjoy that film very much.
Oh, okay.
It's funny. I know the importance it has to so many people and how it is like you're right. It is beyond. It's beyond liking a film. It's like it means so much more to the fans of this film than just it being a movie. I did not connect to it on any level, unfortunately. And I've seen it maybe twice, I think, and both times I found myself very bored. Strangely enough, of all the things you'd think you'd experience in that film, boredom would not be one of them. I didn't think.
Yeah, fair deal.
Like I got fidgety and was kind of like, nah. Yeah, I could be doing something else than watching this.
Okay.
So maybe I'll come around one day. Maybe I need to see it in an audience. Maybe I need to see it in a crowd. Maybe I need to do one of the big kind of experience it with the people that love it and try and
exactly.
kind of let that all wash over me.
Maybe wear some fishnets, Tyson.
Maybe I'll just embrace the whole thing, man. I'll get a wig and a corset and some fishnets and just rock on down to the Astor when they're showing it.
Exactly. They show it at midnight on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, and just get right into the spirit of it.
And start the year off like that.
It's not a bad way to start the year. You're going to have a good year.
That's a good year.
Although I think that's going to wrap us up, Nicholas.
Tice, that's it.
That's it for today.
Do we know what we're doing next week?
No, let's leave that for this week.
Let's leave it as a surprise.
Yeah, let's leave it as a bit of a surprise because I have no idea. We'll have to talk about that later.
I have no idea.
Nick?
I like it though. Tice?
Where do people find our show?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining in. If you would like to write us a letter or get in contact with us, we are on the socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. We are on YouTube. We do have an email address. It is nicktysonvideotape@gmail.com. I spell Nick without a K and Tice is T-Y-S.
Indeed.
And after that, like, subscribe, share us around. Tell your friends. Tell your
friends. Please tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
Because we would love to make friends with your friends. Happy listeners.
Yeah. And to all the people that wrote in for this episode, thank you so much.
It's really awesome. We really appreciate getting the emails. It's such a it's so nice having my phone beep and be like, yeah, this is awesome.
Exactly. And hopefully my wife subscribes again. I'm gonna
that'd
check.
be nice.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. If she did subscribe again, we need all the subscribers we can get at the moment. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
All right. That's going to wrap us up, Nick. It's been a blast, my man.
It's been fun.
Tune in next week, and we'll check out the social medias. We'll be able to tell you what we're going to do at some point.
We'll tell you what's going on.
But it'll be no doubt it'll be something wonderful and exciting, as it always is.
It'll be fantastic.
Yeah. See you, Nick.
See you, Josh.
Bye. I'm just going to stop this recording one second.
Yeah, fair deal.